Well, good evening to you from Munfordville, Kentucky. Hart County High School and Ricky Line Court. Tonight, the Barren County Trojans and Trojanettes play their third game in 4 days, and this time on the road coming up 31W to Munfordville to take on Hart County's Raiders and Lady Raiders. Jay Turner with Robert Bauer here courtside from Hart County High School. Glad to have you along listening tonight here on 103.7 Nash Icon and also online at 104thescore.com. Trojanettes come in 16-4, Hart County 11-8 on this season. Lady Raiders under fourth-year head coach John Bird. Trojanettes under fourth-year head coach Piper Lindsay. The Hart County Lady Raiders ranked number 10 in the Region 5 rankings this week. Barren County stayed at number 2 in the 4th Region rankings this week. Of course, the Lady Raiders out of District 18 in Region 5, at a very tough Region 5. They play with Greene County, LaRue County, and Caverna. Greene County right now on top of the district standings on the girls' side at 5-0. Hart County is 3-3. LaRue County 1-3, and Caverna at 1-4. But they play the likes of Elizabethtown and Bardstown, Bethlehem, the top 2 teams in Region 5 and a couple of the top teams in the state. They beat Washington County on Saturday night by a score of 67-49. Lady Raiders have won 4 straight. The Trojanettes have won 5 in a row and 8 of their last 9, defeating Allen County Scottsville at home on Friday night in a district game to stay undefeated at 5-0 with a 63-53 win. And then Saturday night went on the road to Franklin Simpson, where they scored the most points in a game this year at 77. They defeated the Lady Cats 77-40 Saturday night. Trojanettes shooting at 49% from the field in that ball game and knocked down 10 threes out of 24 attempts, hit 9 of 12 free throws. Elizabeth Bertram had 27 points to lead Coach Piper Lindsay's ball club, and it was Katie Murphy that added 10 points in that game. Another busy week for Barren County. Tomorrow night we're on the road in Logan County. We've got Glasgow in a big district game at home on Friday night, and then we go to Todd County Central on Saturday. So, Robert, another busy week for Barren County High School basketball.
Another busy week, and started off on a Monday, a little different than normal. Not very many games in the 13 years I've been doing it with you on Monday night. So this is an oddity, and we've talked about, we've had a couple of those actually in the last 2 weeks, but the oddity of the schedule. But you show up, you play, and it looks like that's what the girls did very well on Saturday night. Well, the way they shot the ball, you just went over the stats, but 10 threes is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
No matter what girls team.
18th district runner-up. They were district runners-up and went to the 5th region tournament that year. Barren County has won 6 straight against the Lady Raiders. Last year, 74-39, and played it here at Hart County last year. The boys didn't play each other, so they worked out a situation where both teams will play, and but came back here to play for the doubleheader. 74-39 last year, 60-32 2 years ago. Been some blowouts, been some close ones, and I guess the closest game between Barren and Hart was in 2015 when the Trojanettes won 63-56. Hart County's last win over the Trojanettes came in 2013 when they won 52-47. Now, Hart County has won 11 games this year. Most of those have been against district teams. Caverna, 60-47. LaRue, 54-44 and 59-48. They beat Metcalf 78-64. They put up 81 points against Butler County to their 60. And they beat Logan County by 20. Franklin Simpson by 15. John Hardin by 3. Beat Taylor County by 37. Cumberland County by 11. And Washington County by 18. Losses, they've had some close losses to Marshall County, 67-59, and Warren East, 60-56. They lost to Glasgow by 22, and Caverna by 15, Central Hardin by 16, and they've lost to Greene County twice in 18th district play. So, and they're a team, Robert,
Coach Bird earlier, he said one of those girls that averages 14 a game is questionable tonight.
Right.
The Adcock girl. So they need their big 3, if you will, that average those 14 or so points a game to be able to play tonight. I think she's out with a hamstring injury. He said she not out completely. Let's say she's going to try to give it a go and maybe be on limited minutes, or at least see how it feels to try to come back and play down the stretch for them.
At Hart County, a rather young ball club. They start an 8th grader at the point, as does Barren County with Katie Murphy. Dee Bradley, 5-foot 8th grader that averages 14 points a game. And then you throw in Sturgeon, who's a sophomore. Christie's a freshman. Gatto's a sophomore. Only a couple of seniors on this basketball team for the Lady Raiders, so a very young team overall.
You got to start somewhere, and as you mentioned the record last year and their runner-up getting to the regional tournament makes big for them this year when you look down the stretch at their schedule. Even though when you look at the teams that they've beaten, they have not beat a team with a winning record. We talked about that a lot last year with the teams that we played, and really a lot this year. There's just not a whole lot of teams with winning records out there. You play who?
Hart County's a team that went to the state tournament back in 2002. It's been 18 years ago, if you remember Tommy Adams.
Yeah, sure do.
Hart County.
They went 3 years in a row. I think they went from 2000, 2001, 2002 to the Sweet 16.
Trojanettes are averaging 67 points a game. O's at 77-40, went over Franklin Simpson on Saturday night. Overall, the Trojanettes are averaging 60.3 points a game, giving up 46.7, and they shoot 42.1% from the field. Hit 95 threes so far this year, and almost 30% from behind the arc, 64% at the line. games. Well, actually, there's 3 doubleheaders and 1 single game tonight involving 4th Region teams. Clinton County girls and boys are at Campbellsville. Russell County girls and boys are at Cumberland County. Metcalfe County girls and boys are at Monroe County. And Edmondson County girls are at Franklin Simpson tonight. That's all that's on the slate for tonight's high school basketball action. We'll take a look at tonight's lineups. They're brought to you by SCRTC. Get things started with SCRTC's fast and reliable internet speeds today. For John Bird's Lady Raiders, they'll start tonight. Dee Bradley, a 5-foot 8th grader, averaging 14.2 points a game. Haley Sturgeon, a 5'6 sophomore, averaging 14.4 points and almost 5 rebounds a game. Kenley Christie, 5'9 freshman, averages 4.5 points a game. J.C. Gatta, 5'5 sophomore, averages 3.2. And Markathia Thompson, 5'5 junior, that averages just over 1 point a game for the Lady Raiders. It's not sure how much time tonight Kylie Adcock will play. The 5'6 sophomore suffering from a hamstring, according to Coach John Bird, and another player that averages just over 14 points a game. We'll see if she gets some playing time tonight. 4th-year coach Piper Lindsay, assistant coaches Scott Chapman and Chad Withrow with a record of 16-4. Katie Murphy, 5'5 8th grader, averaging almost 3.5 points a game. Elizabeth Bertram, a 5'7 senior that averages 20.4 points a game, still the number 1 scorer in the 4th region, and also was voted the number 1 player in the 4th region in the preseason poll. Has already signed to play college basketball next year at Campbellsville University. Raven Ennis, a 5'9 sophomore, averaging 9.5 points and 5.3 rebounds a game. Carly Delk, 5'9 senior, averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds a game. She signed a golf scholarship with Campbellsville University recently. And Eve Jackson is the other starter for the Trojanettes, 5'9 senior that averages 7 points a game. So there's your starting lineups. Of course, first of 4 games this week, and this is the 3rd of 4 in this stretch of games. And the big game coming up Friday night with the Glasgow Lady Scotties. Right now, the Trojanettes can seal the number 1 seed in the district with a win on Friday night over Glasgow.
It's a big game for them. Obviously, there's a couple of games in the way before they can start looking at that. And the one tomorrow night's a big game for them as well. So it's just one game at a time, and you worry about Glasgow when they get there, but you ultimately, you can't help from knowing in the back of your mind that that's on the horizon Friday night, and get a big hurdle, a season goal out of the way, claiming that number 1 spot in the district.
Of course, Glasgow's 2-1 in district play. Allen County Scottsville is 1-3, and Monroe County and in the 4th seed right now at 0-4. We're going to come back and get set for the tip-off of tonight's first game. And, we talked about this. It's always a 5:30 start when we come to Munfordville because Hart County plays a lot of different teams that are in the Eastern time zone. So it's a chance for those teams to get back earlier in the night instead of waiting till, which is actually 6:30 Eastern time when you start the girls game. But if you stayed at the 6 o'clock time slot every game, then it would be 7 o'clock Eastern time, putting those teams back home really late at night.
And really, the majority of teams in their region are in the Eastern time zone. It's really only their district that plays on the Central time zone like we do.
And LaRue County's in the Eastern time zone.
Right.
And then you've got Greene and Caverna, of course, in the Central time zone. So that kind of messes it up a little bit, but that's just how it all lays out. All right, we'll be back with the tip-off of the Trojanettes and the Lady Raiders as we continue our coverage of Barren County High School basketball presented by Don Franklin Auto Glasgow on 103.7 Nash Icon. And back here at Hart County High School in Munfordville, the Trojanettes Raiders here in game one of our doubleheader. And we talked about last year the Trojanettes got a 74-39 win here on the road against pretty much the same team, Lady Raider basketball team. So they returned all their starters from last year.
That's right. They played really good against them last year. Hopefully we can do the same. Jumped on them pretty early. The reason they started 5:30 is because they said these officials, same crew, called 30 fouls in the first half, and it took an hour to play the first half the other. Just kidding, of course, but about the time, but not about the stats. That's what they said for the fouls. So hopefully we won't have a repeat of that. We'll have a really clean game. We can hold Hart County to 30% shooting, 20% on threes like we did last year, and I think only one kid for them actually got into double figures, which is much different than their actual stats because they have three kids, as you mentioned, that average over 14 a game.
The officials out of Region 5, of course, brought to you by Scotty's Contracting in Stone, committed to providing all customers the same level, the highest quality, no matter the size of the project. We'll have the Farmers RECC Jackie Browning Memorial Opening Tip-Off, and our first quarter of action sponsored by South Central Bank. Small enough to know you, big enough to help. Barren County is down to our right with burgundy uniforms tonight. Gold letters Barren County across the front of their jerseys. Barren on top and County on the bottom underneath the number, which is in black, outlined in gold. And the Hart County Lady Raiders to our left, down on the floor with white uniforms, green numbers and letters outlined in orange with orange stripes. Our